Grassroots fam. I'm here today with Dizgo Band, and we're going to interview them and learn a little bit more about what they do and what they're looking forward to at summer camp this year. So without further ado, hello!
What up?
How's it going, guys?
Hello. Going good.
Glad you could join us. So I want to just jump right in. So you guys are Dizgo. Can you tell me what that means and why you guys are Dizgo?
Yeah, so Dizgo with the Z and the G. Yeah, we just kind of thought it was a cool name. You know, we didn't, definitely sounds kind of like disco. That wasn't really intentional at all, but we kind of just roll with it, you know? And, yeah, the name, we were kind of looking for like a catchy kind of one-word name for the band, you know? And we've been, me and people have been trying to think on a name for the band for like a few months because we were like ready to play our first show a few years ago, and then couldn't figure out a name. Honestly, it's cheesy as it sounds. Like, it came to me in a dream where I was being interviewed and like talking about my band.
So, whoa, like right now?
Like right now. No, but yeah. And then I was like, oh yeah, like Dizgo, you know. And in my dream, I woke up and wrote it down. I got super excited because I just knew it was just worked out that way.
Yeah, and that kind of translated a little bit over to like into. You know, I viewed that as like an opportunity for subject matter for some of the band, you know, like pulling inspiration from like the dream state, I suppose, or like your subconscious, you know, things like that. So a lot of the material that came out on our most recent record, Deeper, there's a lot of like dream stuff involved and subconscious like thoughts and things like that. So we kind of almost use like the stem of the idea of the name as kind of a platform to further ourselves and to what we're writing lyrics about and like what we're writing songs about, stuff like that. Because it's a very, you know, vague, mysterious kind of topic, and it leaves a lot of room for creative stuff. So
I take it. It's a very cool vibe, and it's nice that you dreamt it. That's a coincidence dream. Cool. Well, if you guys don't mind, I'd like you guys to introduce each other. And if you guys want to just kind of take it away and let me know who's who, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. So myself, my name is Andrew Pickle, but I'm going to introduce Kevin. We've been working together for years. So it was about when we were 13 years old. You know, this is the coolest part about like what Kevin and I have going on is that, like, you know, since we were 13, so it's been about 16 years that we've been working together. You know, I played other band instruments and whatnot, but when I got into like, you know, the rock instruments such as, you know, playing guitar, vocals and stuff like that, Kev actually was the one who taught me how to play guitar when I was 13 years old.
Got better than me really fast.
Yeah, so that was like a huge seed planter, and we were recording tracks together on a tape cassette player, just two acoustic guitars. And so, yeah, Kev was a huge, you know, musical, like, I guess, leader for me right at the very get-go of everything that started. And it kind of pushed us into the dynamic that we are today, where we work together with one another. But now I'm kind of playing guitar, and he kind of knew that there needed to be a bass player. And at heart, he was already a bass player. He just didn't know it yet. But yeah, so this is Kevin Hennefeld. He plays the bass, keys, vocal, saxophone, synthesizer, and production. He is by far the most diverse player in the band.
That's incredible. Well, thank you, Kevin. Super cool.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Dan Wood over here, a.k.a. Danimal.
Danimal.
He has a tattoo. I mean,
a Danimal's tattoo? Yeah, get right in there. Love it. We'll get like a little clip of that up here.
Dan Wood's, yeah, he's probably the funniest guy I've ever met in my life. And when we first met him, started playing music together, you know, probably 8 years ago, something like that. More than that. But Dan, when we first met him, when he moved back to Indiana from Oregon, he had one dreadlock on the top of his head that kind of like poked up. And we called it the unit dread.
The unit dread.
So that's that. I'm done.
He's like a
animal.
Animal.
He's our animal.
He's a drummer. Yeah.
He's sure. Here, I'll hit Roy up over here. He's my main boy.
Hey,
Roy's awesome. He does our sound effects. He runs our backing tracks. He runs a click to our ears, our in-ears. He sings, does vocals. Not that good. He's alright. He's good. He's good. We've never beefed a day in our life. Never. We've never had beef with each other. Not yet. Yeah. We're gonna fight right now. Yep. But he's one of my favorite dudes, and that's Roy Waterford. Here.
nice to meet you, Roy.
So I'm gonna introduce Pick, aka the Pickle, aka La Selenia.
Pickles.
I've known this guy for years. I've known all these guys for years, man. But Pickle, I just remember seeing him play shows like as an artist myself because I did hip hop before that. And that's how I met these guys. Is playing shows together when I. But
Wow.
Pickle basically had these crazy licks on the guitar that were I could tell who inspired. You know what I mean? Like by listening to the way he played. I knew who inspired him, and it's like, man, these are all my inspirations too. And then we became friends, and I was like, man, this guy's super funny, and we clown around all the time now. And his super secret talent is actually that he can rap almost as good as me.
I can't wait to hear sometime.
We trade bars from time to time.
That's so cool.
Yeah, together that is Dizgo. That's who we are.
Well, thank you for introducing each other. That was super cool. Really good way to get to know you guys. So how did you guys start working together? How did you guys form Dizgo and start making music?
I could probably take this one. So like I guess the genesis of Dizgo started like a little bit farther back than actually when Dizgo started. To kind of keep things as direct and concise as possible. Like Kev and I started working together, like I said, 15, 16 years ago, which is where kind of some of the chemistry of the original writing music started. And at that point in time, we decided that we wanted to start a band. This was like around the time we were in high school. So we moved through our sophomore year of high school and created another band that we were together for 8 or 9 years. And Dan was actually in that band. It was called Elephant Quiz. I'm actually wearing the shirt right now. Oh, Quiz.
Look at you. That's cool.
Dan came to the picture, and Roy was collaborating with us all the time. So as far as like these people working together, it started, all the way back in 2009, 2008, 2009.
Wow.
It was directly connected to this now, but we started out, collaborating with each other and doing stuff. Dan was our drummer for many years in that other band. But after that band took a hiatus, basically, some of the members, we all went different directions, somebody had a kid, yada, 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 you know how it goes. And there were other life interests. There were things we needed to do to take a break from music. And we took a break for a year and a half or so. And Kev had hit me up and said, he's like, I'm making music in a new way now. And he was explaining how he was making music with, using a synthesized bass rig, basically. So he wasn't playing bass guitar, and he's kind of one of the weird freaks in the world that can play 2 different parts at the same time. So he could play bass lines and play keyboard parts at the same time. And we liked the idea of having a stripped down setup and not having less players doing more. So it was just, a few summers back, the summer of 2015 is whenever we actually first got the Dizgo seed planted. That's like when it really started. He hit me up and he said, I was living in Indianapolis at the time. He said, why don't you come back to Bloomington and we'll start playing some music together again? I'm writing some really good songs and I can use your help. So I came, I moved back to Bloomington, Indiana, and we started immediately just going into his basement and creating these tracks just with the two of us and whatnot. And it just quickly, the material started generating and accumulating like, at a rate that we were like, wow, we have something worth messing with here. So as we evolved from that point in time, we generated basically like, shows worth of material. And we had some old friends from Bloomington, Nate Squeeze. I don't know if you've ever heard of
I have. Yes, I saw them.
There's some good friends of ours. And so we got in contact with them and we said, hey, we're putting together a good group. What if we do a show together? You guys can help us kind of get stuff off the ground. We can get the local kids, we can feed into some of the local crowd and whatnot. And that's kind of how Dizgo got started. At the time, we did have a different drummer, and Boy wasn't originally involved. It was originally a three-piece act.
Oh.
But we found that we wanted, inherently we just desire diversity. We can't do too much of one thing. So getting a more diverse drummer with a little bit more history, Danimal, and then Boy over here has, he's also a jack in trades. Yeah, he has a lot of different things going on, and he had a hip hop record label that he was running himself, working with lots of artists. So like we knew that we could be a networking force together, and we were all friends. So it made perfect sense. So we kind of took it from there, and we're paving the road in front of us still. I mean, we are still constantly reinventing what Dizgo is, the way that we're making it sound. But with our last release of Deeper, we found an edge that we were like, this is more the sound that we're going for, and we're wiggling it. I guess we're growing into our shoes, I guess you could say, a little bit. So there's lots of history between these four people, but just recently we found like a formula, a new way to be able to operate and create music. Because we're all very hungry to create, and that's, I think, one of the most enjoyable parts of the process for us is creating. So yeah, I want to cry.
That was very cool. Well, thank you for speaking to that. So what are some of your favorite tracks or shows or some of your favorite memories together as a band?
I give one comment and then I'll pass up.
Sure.
But I know for a fact that like one of the brightest moments in my heart, with Dizgo is definitely when we started playing shows at the Vogue Theater, which is in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay.
We're from Bloomington, but Indianapolis is like our home base. That's our home base spot. We wanted to be playing the Vogue. We wanted to step up to that tier, and so we were opening up for some bands up there, such like Main Squeeze, Papadosio, stuff like that. And we kind of set this goal. We were like, in 2 years, we should have like a headlining venue. 6 months later, we're headlining the Vogue and a completely packed room, completely filled out room. First gig, walking into this big theater that we thought was 2 years away, and it was right under our noses. And the amount of support and love that came from our Indianapolis community and all the people who came from around was just absolutely just mind-boggling. And it I think it was a reality check in the sense that like, this is fun, but we can also take this as seriously as we want. And we can make a professional idea out of what we're doing and be able to do this full time. And so we're in the process of doing all that right now. But I think that first show for Vogue was one of my golden moments. I think the band shows that too. I think that was a huge moment for us to see that crowd as thick and as excited as they were on our first headlining gig. Very big venue.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, like our Indiana people show so much support, but we run into so many people on the road that are totally on board that we've never met in our life, but after a few songs into the set, they're right on board with Dizgo, and they're telling their people about it, and they're telling their friends when we're coming back to town. So just basically traveling around, seeing new people, like jumping into new markets and just having fun. being on the road with, 3 of my best friends, doing what I love, like that's priceless for me. So that's all the other stuff is just a bonus, but really just being out here, connecting with new people, sharing these experiences with these people I love, and that's what it's all about.
That's super cool.
You guys got any golden wins?
We did a Gorillas tribute here in Bloomington at the Bluebird, and we spent so much time on it, and the turnout was amazing, and it was a hit. I still hear about it to this day, so that was definitely good on my favorite. Maybe we'll play it sometimes too.
Yeah,
It might happen again.
yeah. But yeah, the playoff awards is definitely like one of the most fun things to market to. The Dizgo Gorillas,
That's so fun.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Just put a bow. They put a bow on it.
We were trying to figure out what tribute we wanted to do, and once that was presented, we were like, well, duh.
That's really neat. Oh my goodness. That must be incredible. So you obviously set some goals for yourself. Playing at the Vogue sounds like that was a big goal. But what are some of your future goals that you've got coming up or that you guys are working towards now?
Future goals that we're looking for. I mean, like kind of like time frame. You looking like what? Like down next.
Like the summer, next few years.
Okay. I don't know. I mean,
You want to get that down?
Ted scheduled out some of our summer goals, so I'll let him take this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think honestly, summer goals, like we have a ton of music festivals we play this summer, a bunch of shows we're really looking forward to. So right now, we have a few weeks and we're really just putting as much time as we can and just, putting together the best set we can possibly play, to give our fans the best musical experience, So a lot of individual efforts that we have planned. We have time to play saxophone every day. Boys really stepping it up on the keys. People's practicing guitar all the time. So a lot of individual efforts leading towards coming together.
It kind of goes back to our old, accent that we started on, which is get better, get smart. And, we've done that.
That's a great motto. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, we're like I said, we are paving the path in front of us, but we do have our eyes on some goals that are over the next few years. Yeah, of course, yes. Colorado is definitely a huge opportunity for us that we're going to be indulging in. We were making strides to get a little bit more involved with the Colorado scene, but I think, some of our largest goals are, there's a lot of bands out there that are touring around and they're moving from city to city, and they connect with some people and whatnot. But what we want to do is, we're constantly reaching out a little bit farther, we're always reaching a little bit farther, beyond what we can actually reach. So we are dipping into new markets every season. There's new markets. And that's important. But what's, I think, more important, that I think we're placing a little bit more value in, is actually, I guess for lack of a better word, like fertilizing the markets that we do have now and staying true to them and coming back and thickening and deepening the connection with the fans there and networking with the people that are there in those markets. So the markets that we do have that are currently standing, we want to improve them and create bigger markets. Because, for example, Indianapolis is a great market for us. Bloomington is a great market for us. Cincinnati, / Covington, those are great markets for us. But we want to increase the connectivity, I guess, between all that, because that's really what it's all about. When you break things down, the music does speak for itself, but who you are and how you interact with other people is what's going to define what we're capable of doing as a group and the momentum that you can build behind a group of people. So that's one huge thing is definitely focusing on nourishing our current markets even further while expanding at the same time. But if you're talking 2 to 3 years out, I guarantee you we have another project in store for everybody.
Oh, cool.
We just released one, creating creation part of the process, I think, is like really the most enjoyable part of the process for all of us. I said that once earlier. We can't stop making music for some reason. That's like where we make so much that we have to prioritize. Okay, this idea, this idea, this idea. We put them on the tiers, come up with the idea so quickly we can't quite finish them all as fast as we're coming up with them. So there will be new projects on the horizon for sure, and definitely being a little bit more present in the festival circuit too, because the festivals are just gold mine, just networking hubs. They are absolutely exactly what we need. When you go to a single festival, you walk away with so many opportunities that will lead you to a new market or to, like I said, further nourish a market that you already have. Yeah, they're just they are the epitome. The festivals are literally creating an opportunity for bands like us and many other bands to be able to push themselves forward at an accelerated rate that we wouldn't have out
I agree. Couldn't have said it better. I'm loving it. Good stuff. So you guys are playing summer camp this summer. So what are you guys looking forward to at summer camp? I understand you guys have been before, but this is a pretty special year.
I've never been, so I'm just excited to be a part of the experience that I've heard so much about for years. Because, plus, the lineup is absolutely crazy. Some of my favorite artists. I'm especially excited to see Grammatic. Even though I've seen it a few times, Grammatic's just incredible. It's, big influence on me as a producer. And, not to mention, I could go on and on, but I'd say Grammatic, Chromeo is huge for me.
Yeah.
George Clinton dropped out, so that sucks. He canceled. So, Chromeo is a big one for me. Lennon Playful Delirium.
Mm-hmm.
Lennon Delirium.
Yeah, it's all about.
Doesn't matter. I love Playful. I love Kindness. So that's going to be a huge one for me, obviously. And I don't know what you can say.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it really.
Personally, I'm looking forward to the time I get to spend even outside of the set, just being able to be on the other side as being an artist there, because you get to have just as much fun, but you get to do all this cross pollination with things, and you run into cats that you don't even realize are players in some of the bands you love.
Yep.
It being such a pure, condensed festival that has really all kill, no fill. There's not a lot of crappy bands there. There's nobody there that's like that. It's all just really good artists, and so the opportunity to go somewhere, have a great time, and be able to represent what we're doing and represent a little bit of Indiana, because there's not a lot going on in Indiana comparatively to some of these other states.
Sure.
So being able to represent our area is a huge part for me. I really think that's awesome. You get to say, hey, Indiana is totally on the map, and we're doing some cool things too, and then being able to just hang out with some of your heroes. That's a huge part of it. Yeah, summer camp has done a stellar job at just artist relations. Everything that they put together is just it is absolutely just a machine. It is very, very much so. I don't know if you have anything out of that together. It's very well said.
So you guys are excited. That's what I'm kind of.
We're super excited. And we're gonna bring we're bringing the hype too. We're ready for this. We've kind of been wiggling into our own shoes in the festival scene, and the summer camp is one of those shows that we're just on steady ground. We're ready to come. We're locked and loaded and ready to bring it. This is the year that Dizgo should be at summer camp. So we're ready to bring that to the table.
Well, I'm excited for you guys. I'm definitely going to be there and check it out. I'm really looking forward to it.
Good to hear.
It's a good time. So who are some of your biggest influences in terms of sound and inspiration? And in my blog, I kind of mentioned a few that I thought you guys may have drawn inspiration from, but I wanted to hear from you guys who you guys are inspired by.
Yeah, are you talking like? Would you like us to answer more like group-wise when we're writing and stuff, or do you want to hear a little bit more of like the personal influences? I suppose.
Either one, whatever you would like to speak to. I mean, I'd like to hear what you guys each drawn and who you vibe with and where your energy is coming from.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Pink Floyd's my number one, but quickly followed by Zeppelin and Primus, and I really like Ween. I only just got into Ween a couple of years ago, but they're killing it for me.
Cool.
I mean, it's endless, but those are some big ones for me.
Cool.
Yeah, as far as like the sound we're going for with Dizgo, some of our top influences, SGS9, Humphreys, Lotus, to say the really obvious ones.
Yeah, I get that.
Shout out to Papadocio, like when me and people started Dizgo a few years ago, I was listening to Papadocio every day, so I've got to give them a shout out for their as far as influences.
Cool.
There's old and new, like we have a lot of like timeless influences, but there's also like modern things, like you mentioned a few of like the ones that are like active right now that are influencing us. But there's a ton of like tangents, I suppose, of inspirations that come from everything from funk, soul, R&B, and all that things all over the place. We're definitely a band that has a hard time limiting ourselves to genres.
Sure.
We definitely use the collective pool of musical energy, like kind of as more of a vague topic. And I think Tame Impala is an influence that we've kind of brought in vocally, I suppose. That using kind of like a live effects rig on the vocals has set us aside a little bit from other bands,
Sure.
It's a subtle thing, but just having like live interactive effects makes a big difference, and people hear that and they're interested in that. So I could say that could fall under the Tame Impala influence. I'd say.
Cool.
Okay.
Roy, any major influences or inspiration?
Yeah, I'd say as far as Dizgo, these guys pretty much covered it. I'd say Sun Suave. Those guys are a big influence now. Like they've got just great sounds. They put out great sounds. As far as me personally, like just musically, The Dead is what inspires me. Has from day one. Like I even see it as kind of carrying. We're kind of a part of that culture that was started, over 50 years ago. So even though our music is kind of more new school, like we're still kind of all branching off the tree that has roots in The Dead. I basically like kind of taking the scene by storm, basically doing it on your own for the most part, which is something that we do that a lot of bands that are of our tier don't. Is we have it's all in house. We got a great, amazing manager and promoter and graphic artist, and that holds us down. And we all do the work together too. So I think like the family element of The Dead is very present.
Which we gotta give the proper shout out to our manager / marketing guy is Patrick Molescu, which I'm sure you may have been in contact with him. But he's definitely he's the backbone behind this band. And when we first partnered up with them within the first year of the band being created, we knew right off the bat that this was an individual that was going to be one of our best friends and a total partner in business that we could collaborate with and work well. And he's been nothing short of like a professional manager that does a better job than what other managers get paid tenfold to do. So he's absolutely the man, and so we have to give the shout out and the props to him. So Patrick Valescu is the man all the way. We'll give him a little round of applause.
Pretty heady too.
Yeah.
That's good.
He's wearing New Balances right now.
Fresh. Very cool. Well, I certainly get the family vibe from you guys. You guys seem like a really cool group of people that really get along, and I think that's really special. It's really cool to see in person, really. So if I was to kind of go into your playlists, who would I find that I would be like really surprised by? Is there anyone that you guys are like really digging, maybe current music that's just kind of like wild?
I listen to like a huge variety of music.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to J. Cole this morning.
Okay.
And then followed by like a Wood Brothers song that I've been getting down to. So yeah, I mean, the variety of my playlists is just, I listen to pop music all the time too, just because the production in it just blows my mind. A lot of pop songs out there, I can't handle a lot of it, but the stuff that I can, I'm just like amazed by the production quality and stuff.
Cool.
My playlist is pretty much mostly dubstep, surprise many people, but I'd say the most surprising thing on my playlist would probably be like either Bob James, which is like some old school jazz, or Hank Williams Sr., which is like remember the Yodel Boy? You guys remember the Yodel Boy? You know what? The most surprising one is probably that the Old Town Road Horses in the Back song. Have you guys heard that? Oh my god. Well, if you guys are out there, look up that Horses in the Back, Nas Little X, hilarious country rap song. It'll crack you up.
Okay. I'll check it out for sure.
As far as like some of the influences, like in like playlist stuff that I'm playing like on a daily basis, it depends on what time of day it is, but definitely like Unknown Mortal Orchestra is one for me that over the last 12 months, like I've been dipping into these guys, and they've just got amazing songwriting. They're super awesome. Other bands like with power lead singers such as Muse, Incubus. These are bands that like just for some reason they just sit well within my soul, and singing along with them and playing along with them are definitely a part of like what diversifies my ability to be able to play other styles of music too, while engaging in like totally new genres. There's a lot of people in our scene that don't listen to those type of artists.
Sure, definitely.
Dan, you listen to a few.
Dan's like Celine Dion, right? You like Celine?
I get down on some. Bill Withers is my man. Sam Cooke and Al Green, I'll shuffle those all day long. I can never get tired of listening to those. That's very surprising.
No, they're actually really awesome.
It's undeniable.
Cool.
Celine, that's
so if you guys aren't making music, you guys aren't working on creating, like what would I find you guys each doing?
Party.
Well, I have a daughter. I have a 4-year-old daughter. So
wow.
Thing, which I love. It's like the most rewarding experience. Sorry, guys.
No, don't be sad. That's really cool.
And I like to garden. I'm all about gardening. I love gardening. I actually just tilled my garden today.
Wow. Weather's nice. You're like, I'm out in the garden.
Yeah, it's great.
Very cool.
Okay, what do you do?
Well, yeah, I mean, this band and music in general kind of consumes. It's like my life.
Sure.
So, like, as far as outside of music, me and Pickle both own dirt bikes, and we ride those on occasion.
That's cool.
We got a pretty wicked view going on.
Nice.
And,
we're definitely getting out into the woods in general, but we ride the dirt bikes as much as we can. Sure. Yeah, because it's one of the most we call it, it's a Sunday fun day activity for sure. And now that it's getting beautiful in Bloomington.
Yep.
Today's 80 degrees here in Bloomington, Indiana. It's beautiful out. Like,
let's go do that right now.
Yeah, we might go right there by
We're about to go for a ride.
yeah, but personally, I own a couple of dogs too, so I love getting outside, hanging out. I love running out in the woods. I grew up like probably about 20 minutes just east of Bloomington, out in the country. So I grew up in the woods, and I spent a lot of my time out there doing camping, hanging out and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely outdoor stuff. I don't think any of us are really like gamer types. None of us really spend a lot of our time indoors. We like to be hands-on and doing things, fixing things, working on things. We're all project-oriented, which is why the group and the music kind of comes together and works together because it's a project, and it's the most fun project of all.
What about you, Dan?
I broke my leg last year, so that was a game. Nothing else to do.
What happened?
Before a winter tour.
Yeah,
I was partying, and I slipped on some ice off my board and broke my leg.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I like to get out on the town and talk to as many people as possible. Well, I like to talk. That's basically
Don't
go around town, go to different bars, talk to people. I love that people know me everywhere I go in town.
He's a staple of the Bloomington.
He's the next thing.
Yeah, we're super tied in with the service industry crew here in Bloomington, which is like it's its own scene. The service industry scene is completely made up of hundreds of people who are devoted to music and busting their butts, and just making money and just and having a great time. So even just Animal, literally working the service industry angle, has popped up with hundreds of numbers locally in Indiana.
Sure.
Sure, yeah.
And they play our music at their restaurants and stuff.
Oh, that's really cool.
And leading up to shows, we can drop on tickets there and stuff, and they'll sell tickets for us for things like that. So it all ties in together. It's a big one.
It all goes together.
So basically, never stop thinking or doing music. So very little time that we're not thinking or doing something musically.
And you guys all live generally close, I'm assuming then, right? So you're able to work together as much as you do.
All within 20 minutes of each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, well, I obviously am from Grassroots. Do you guys have any favorite Grassroots artists or hats or experiences with Grassroots?
You guys worked with Chris Dyer, which is one of my favorite artists.
We did.
Yeah. Is that Grizzly? Is that the Grizzly one?
This is the Chicago Bear style one.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's been one of my favorite artists for years.
Cool.
So when you guys did those hats, man, I'm not necessarily a hat guy, but I would probably become a hat guy for one of that. I just need a 4X book size, and I'll be good.
We gotta do something for the dreads. We gotta work on that. Noted.
Yeah, that.
As far as just Grassroots, I remember one of the first festivals I ever went to was in Indiana. It was at the Water Bowl in Muncie. It's called Water. You guys had a tent, a dome set up and everything.
I've heard of the dome.
Yeah, and I've been there a few times. I mean, just as far as raw experiences, every time I'm wandering around the festival kind of late at night, looking for something to do. Every time I come around the Grassroots people, I get comfortable, and everyone's super level-headed. They're really nice to talk to, and it's a good vibe to go and hang out. So it's nice to kind of stumble across the Grassroots thing. But it's funny because we're at our buddy's house right now, and I remember a year ago, I was just man, this is one of my favorite hats I've ever seen by Lotus. And this was I found out this was the Grassroots Lotus hat. Whatever, and this is my buddy's hat, but I thought this was one of the coolest hats that you guys have put out yet.
Very cool.
Like Roy, I've got weird hair. I don't wear a lot of hats and whatnot. But I dig on other people's hats. And this is my buddy Joe Rowe's hat. This was definitely one of the flyest pieces that I've seen you guys put out.
Very cool.
Yeah. This is definitely right. So personally, this is my favorite. But we really are looking forward to being able to connect a little bit more with you guys. And I think throughout the summer, you guys get us some merch. We're going to be putting it out there. We're going to be repping it all.
We'll definitely send you some merch.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Rep it good. Cool. Well, I actually also, I didn't live in Indiana, but I went to school in Indiana. And so I have to know what school, if you guys had to pick between Purdue and IU.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Purdue.
Wow.
I know, I kind of figured because you guys are like, I'm from Bloomington. And I'm like, oh no, this isn't good. Oh my God.
No, we're all from the area. Most of us went to school there. But
Okay.
we love everybody in the state, everyone around. We'll go play for anybody, anytime, any place there's good vibes. We're gonna be there, happily spreading love.
IU all day.
Yeah, we rep IU 100%. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna act like the ISU kids or the Purdue kids don't rage just as hard. Like they're all out there, doing a really good job at being killer jam band fans. So we're gonna represent IU all day in Bloomington, but we're out there, we're hanging out with Purdue.
IU sucks. No. Okay.
What? You know what? Just we'll see how happens next season, all right?
Yeah, we will. We will see. I mean, that's. But thank you. Okay, well, that kind of is all my questions. So I want to just thank you guys for meeting with us today and sharing a little bit about yourselves with grassroots fans. And we're really looking forward to seeing you guys at summer camp. We'll definitely be hyping you up and join you out in Three Sisters.
Yeah, let's what do you say we collaborate on something? Let's get a hat line worked up together. Let's
I'm down.
I think it's a good cause. Like, we got all types of ideas floating around since we've been, talking about this whole topic and everything. So, maybe all people who are into the grassroots apparel and everything, just keep your eyes peeled for something Dizgo related.
Oh, shit. Yes, I'm about it. Let's do it.
All right.
We'll make it happen. Cool. Well, thanks again. I will follow up with you guys in a little bit and get you guys some merch, and we'll see you on the road.
All right, everybody who was watching, thank you guys so much. Peace out. We'll see you guys later.
Thank you, guys.